Greetings, this is Elder Blacklight, coming to you today with a very, very important message to all those brothers and sisters who are serious about having black power. And you may not think that you're ever going to get it, because the way things are going nowadays and what you see on YouTube and what you see on television, it looks like that the black man is going to come up last again. But however you perceive the status of the black American, so-called black American, or however you think it's a lost cause, I'm here to assure you that it's really not. As long as you got some fight in you, some resistance in you, then there's always a possibility that you might come out victorious. The name of this video is going to be Detroit, the last big fist. The last big fist to knock out white supremacy. Part 2. Part 1, I was talking about how on the police force here in Detroit, they fired, I think it was fired two black, not two black, but two white Caucasian for going on social media and showing their hand. They exposed their hand as being white supremacists, and you could go back and see that video. It's also on Channel 7 and Channel 7's archives here in Detroit. And I'm going to launch a series pertaining to Detroit's last big fist to knock out white supremacy. Well, I'm going to tell you how I derived that title about Detroit. For one thing, Detroit is 85% black. And if you notice that there's a propaganda campaign to smear or to imprison or to even kill our black men and their past legends of our black heroes and icons and idols. Now, we don't never supposed to idolize a person to the effect that we worship them. But you gotta don't sweat the technique. Rakim was running that, don't sweat the technique. You gotta study the technique of the great leaders, icons that we had. And some of them are meant for you to show you how to do. Some of these past leaders and icons and historic figures are there to show you what not to do, and some are there to show you what to do. So you're supposed to study. If you're a musician, you want to see what it is to get over. Now we're gonna chill on that. I'm gonna come back on that. This is gonna be my first, one of my first discussion. Well, that ain't discussions because I ain't discussing with nobody but you. But I'm not. I ain't gonna get no feedback. See, I don't give feedback because reason why I don't do that is not because I don't want to answer any of your questions. It's because I want you to do the research. I'm going to try to put it so it won't be no questions. But however, if you got questions, because I may have misspoke myself or whatever, do the research on it and your question will be answered. You'll answer your own questions. And the reason why I call it the last big fist to knock out white supremacy is because the Nation of Islam started here first. All the other movements, Marcus Garvey and Noble Ali, they have chapters here, but I don't believe they started here in Detroit first. You know, it was other cities, but Master Farad came to Detroit first. And it's the fight that we're in now. It's a fight against Islam. It's on two levels. It's a fight against Islam as taught by the Prophet Muhammad, 1400 years ago, and against the teachings of Master Farad Muhammad given to Elijah Muhammad. Because not only did Master Farad Muhammad teach that, our culture is Islam, our way of life is Islam. He taught that it was started by the original man, the original Asiatic black man, and that we are Allah. Whereas the Arab Muslim or just the Middle Eastern Muslim, Mustafa Muhammad, he indicated it, but he didn't make it clear. He gave hints about it. Also, we're going to establish that the Prophet Muhammad and Jesus, who you call the Christ, are run parallel to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm going to show you why I say that right now. The Prophet Muhammad, starting with him first, went to Mecca and saw and found that they were worshiping idols and making a whole lot of money in the Kaaba, which was supposed to be Abraham rebuilt the Kaaba, and it was a house of holiness and divineness and worshiping the supreme being, or the uh, Most High. In that language, they called him Allah. Jesus, he turned over the tables in the temples and whipped the money changers out of the temple, because the Pharisees were cheating the people. Elijah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was overthrowing the mindset. You could say he was overminding this corrupt system of white supremacy and establishing black power. If you want to say black supremacy, you can say it. And that's why, Detroit is significant, because as the Prophet Muhammad went to Medina, first he was in Mecca, and then he ran out of Mecca, and he went to Egypt, and was hiding out with some Coptic Christians who were black. Then he went to Medina. And then he came back and conquered Mecca. Jesus, Mary took him to Egypt, the seat of knowledge. Came back, and he did not successfully conquer Jerusalem and Palestine, wherever, all that area over there. He was supposed to, conquer that, but he didn't do it. And but he did establish the divine word of the Most High. And lastly, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was ran out of Detroit and went to Chicago. This is still pending, because he's supposed to come back and conquer Detroit. It's still pending. Even though he's passed away, it's still pending. So this is Black Light. Stay tuned for the next installment, Detroit, the last big fist to knock out the white supremacy, otherwise known as Satan.